Hi, I'm Patrick, and this is the Mach-E vlog. I'm doing some hands-free driving, not in the Mach-E, but in a Chevy Bolt with SuperCruise. We're going to take a look at it today, so let's go. Of course, if you have a Mach-E, you're very familiar with BlueCruise. It's a hands-free driver's assistance feature. SuperCruise is basically GM's version of BlueCruise. I wouldn't say version, it's their own thing, but it is a hands-free driver's assistance. A lot of people compare both of these to Tesla Autopilot, which is a hands-on system. So I just wanted to sort of, as an experienced BlueCruise user, give my opinion and talk about the features of SuperCruise. Right now, feels very, very, very much like BlueCruise. I'm in SuperCruise mode. I got my hands off and it's handling everything. Just like with BlueCruise, SuperCruise also has to be on pre-mapped roads. On the version that's on the Bolt, it's basically like interstate highways and whatever. On Cadillacs, for example, it has a different version of SuperCruise. Whoa, we got a little bit of wiggle because there was an entrance there. It didn't know what to do. A lot of times BlueCruise will cancel. This one just sort of was like ping-ponging quite a bit. But as far as the pre-map roads, the Bolt has slightly more SuperCruise roads than Ford has BlueCruise roads. I believe it's like 120,000 or something like that. The Cadillac has like 200,000 miles of SuperCruise roads, and it does some like 2-lane rural roads and stuff like that. So nice advantage to SuperCruise on that. I believe Ford will be expanding BlueCruise in the future. This version of SuperCruise doesn't do lane changes. It's just like BlueCruise 1.0. If you don't know, BlueCruise 1.2, which is on 2023 Mach-E's and supposedly will be coming to other Mach-E's and Lightnings and whatever, eventually via over-the-air updates, will also add in like lane changes and some other new features. SuperCruise is also very similar to BlueCruise in that if I want to change lanes, I turn my blinker on. Now I'm in control of the steering. I turn the blinker off. Once I get back into the center of the lane, it turns back on. So it went blue, letting me know that I'm in charge, but it's ready to take back over again. A couple of little differences that I'm not sure I really like, but I would probably get used to over time is that I'm going to turn it off right now. So first of all, if I hit off just on SuperCruise, it flashes red, and that bugs me. I found out that if I turn it back on and then I turn off the adapter, oh no, I forget. Basically, I'm taking vehicle control, just reading all the stuff. I'm still getting used to this. I've only had it for a few days. But basically, to turn it back on, I have to turn on adaptive cruise control again. And then I can set SuperCruise. But what I was going to show was, to turn it on, I have to be centered in the lane before I can even activate it. So like in a Mach-E, people have complained, like they turn on BlueCruise, and then it pulls them over to where it wants them to be in the lane. SuperCruise gets around that by making you get pretty much dead center in the lane before you're allowed to even turn it on. So it's a little bit of annoyance, but I think I would get used to that after a while. Like make sure I'm centered and ready for it to take control. And it's probably a smoother effect than BlueCruise, which sort of like if you turn it on, it'll like jerk you to the middle. As I did back there to turn it off, like I hit the button and it flashes red. Like if I hit the brakes, it obviously will turn off and let me take control, but like hitting the button and it doing the flashing red, maybe I'm doing something wrong. If I am, please correct me in the comments. But with BlueCruise, I can hit the button and it just turns off, and it's like I hit the button, so it figures I know that I'm turning it off. This gives that sort of harsh warning I don't like. I'm trying to figure out a way to, let's see if I can do that on this straight strip here. I'm gonna, nope. And it starts braking quite a bit as well. Let me turn everything back on. And there, we're back in. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It does have the same thing as the Mach-E with the following distance, which is like just a button tap right over here. And I can adjust to near, far, or medium. Mach-E has 4 different adjustments. This is only 3. Not that big of a difference, really. As far as actual performance, handling curves like this or straight traffic, whatever, like all those different functions, they feel nearly identical to me. Both of them feel fairly smooth on curves. There are times when they will ping pong, like we saw, like with the on ramp, and then some, just whatever. Every once in a while you'll get a little bit of like ping ponging confusion out of the system, but overall, like 95% of the time, I feel like it's handling it really well. You can see the steering wheel isn't like wobbling back and forth right now, handles it pretty well. Now, one very cool thing, this just popped up. It says Super Cruise caution, construction zone, drive with care. And I don't know if it detected the signs or if it's been mapped, but we're entering an area where there is some construction. And I like that it tells me that there's a construction zone coming up and that I should, have some extra care. Now, the Mach-E, when we go through this exact same section with BlueCruise on, it'll stay in BlueCruise until we get up here a little bit further, and you'll see that the lines of the road change a bit. So far, Super Cruise has handled it with no issue whatsoever, but BlueCruise will always cancel when we get to this area and transfer control back to me. It doesn't tell me why, but what I'm suspecting is because the line markings are different. When we get to that, I'll show you the difference up here. Okay, this is the section that always throws the Mach-E off. As you can see, the lines are a little bit different. They are orange and white. And every time we go through here, the Mach-E says, nope, you need to handle this section or put your hands on the wheel. And it usually takes away the lane centering. It makes me steer completely. So far, Super Cruise is handling it like there's no issue whatsoever. It gave me that original warning that said that we're approaching a construction zone, but otherwise it's handling it perfectly fine. So that's definitely a win for Super Cruise in that regard. Hopefully this construction zone will be done within a couple of months and I won't have to worry about it. But otherwise, until then, I like the way Super Cruise is handling it. But overall, doing my comparison between Super Cruise and BlueCruise, I can see why they get a lot of direct comparison. We have tried autopilot as well as other driver's assistance functions. Autopilot is the one that's the most commonly mentioned. I like Super Cruise and BlueCruise for this type of situation. And the reason for that is like I like that it's very easy to turn them on and off, like with the button versus double tap. I like that it's very easy to get out of them and then have it basically re-engage for Super Cruise and BlueCruise. And what I'm talking about is doing the lane changes. So if I want to do a lane change, I just turn the blinker on, make the lane change, turn the blinker off, and then it reactivates automatically. It isn't like turn it off, lane change, turn it on. You can get that with Tesla Autopilot, but it's a $6,000 package that comes with enhanced autopilot, which also adds some other features that are very nice, but it's also $6,000 extra. So something to consider. But again, just looking at Super Cruise versus BlueCruise, very, very similar feeling. A lot of the similar feel in how it activates. I do like the green bar, the fact that it's right here. Ooh, we got a little bit of wobbling right there. But this is a construction zone on a curve, but didn't feel out of control at all. Don't like how you have, like this one keeps on flashing that warning when I turn it off, but otherwise it feels pretty good. We have hit a little bit of traffic here and there, like I have it set to 68, but we're doing 63 because of traffic. Didn't even notice it really slowing down. It's doing a great job of maintaining speed. I think BlueCruise does as well. But I tend to still, like if I see everybody coming to a hard stop, I'll usually end up doing the braking on my own just because. But otherwise, I don't know. If you've driven both, please let me know if I've missed anything, what you think about the two different systems. They're very similar in my view, but I would definitely prefer the Mach-E system because it does work on roads that aren't pre-mapped if you do the hands-on version with lane centering. So I think that's a huge win for BlueCruise for that feature alone, because that opens up a lot more times when you can actually use the system versus this where it's basically only on the pre-map roads. So functionality wise they feel very similar, but where you can use them means the Mach-E gets a huge win. And I should mention that, like, even on like 2-lane roads, like in rural 2-lane roads, the Mach-E will let you turn it on then, which granted, that's not a place where I would normally want cruise control on, but that's definitely something to consider. And then somebody just pulled in front of me, it tapped the brakes slightly, very, very controlled and very smooth. So anyways, I think that's enough BlueCruise versus Super Cruise comparison. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this video. Thank you to Liv, who's been filming this whole time. Her arm's probably about to fall off. And thank you to our Patreon subscribers. They're the ones that are contributing $2, $4, or $6 per month. If you want to join, there's a link down below in the description. We try to provide some extra perks for them as well. But thank you to the Unbridled, the Engage, and the Whisper patrons. And as Liv would say, drive what you may, but it's all really cool, and enjoy the ride.